What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Kat and Mark Show. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, Kat, how's your week been?
My week has been very good. I just got back from touring in Perth, so I'm a little bit jet lagged at the moment. I literally had like 2 hours of sleep last night. I know it's only Perth, but like the 2-hour time difference, it just really fucks you.
Yeah, no, it's just enough to like
telling that to my mum the other
bedtime.
day. I was like, I'm so jet lagged from going to Perth. She's like, what the fuck? It's only 2 hours. That's not jet lag. I was like, yep, it is.
Yeah, it's enough. Look, if you're waking up at fucking 5 a.m. or whatever you are now, and then you have to wake up at like 3 a.m. or it's fucking you that way, then yeah, it's enough.
I get jet lag just going to like the Gold Coast when they're like not in daylight savings and we are.
Jesus
even just
Christ.
that 1 hour difference, I feel
for
like
perspective. For perspective, I just went to Bali and back to Europe. I don't even know how big the gap is there. You're like, yo, I go to breakfast down the road. I get jet lagged, okay? It's a long drive down. I just get back and it's the time zones. But no,
like
I get
even
you. I mean,
an hour
Perth is,
difference just God,
that's enough. Yeah.
It really gets me. But my story for this week, I had a very interesting and unique client experience.
Okay.
While I was in Perth. So I seen a client who is a quadriplegic. So that is paralyzed from the neck down. Which I wasn't exactly sure how the booking was going to go because obviously I don't really know much about quadriplegia, I guess, but I was asking him when we were like communicating, and I was like, oh, like, can you still have sex? And he's like, oh no, it won't be sex. It'll be like just like company and just like kissing and stuff. So like he can't have sex like ever. And I was like,
it's crazy, right?
I know. Like I was like, that was like one of the first things I asked him. I was like, how do you like just like, do you get horny? Like, and he was apparently they do still get horny. They just can't use.
Yeah, because I guess horniness is in the mind, right? Yeah, exactly. So you'd still feel like turned on. You still feel horny. It's just the matter of like being able to fuck is obviously not there, right?
Well, I would say like 100%. I would say it's probably one of the most like rewarding bookings I've ever done. Like it was very like it was very different because obviously there was no sex, but it was still very cute as well. Like like I held his hand for a bit, even though he couldn't feel it. He was just like, oh, I just like knowing that you're like holding my hand. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is so sweet. That
is amazing. That's really sweet.
So anyway, that was definitely a first for me, which is, I guess very different. I don't think a lot of, I'd asked a few girlfriends of mine and I was like, oh, like, have you done like a booking with like a quadriplegic person before? Like, I don't know, can you give me any tips? Like when they can't, what do I do? Because it's very different to what I would normally do in a booking. And I stripped a little bit, I guess. Like I was able to do a bit of a show, which is I get a little bit different. I don't usually do like strip shows, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of talking and we had like a really fun time and he didn't mind me chewing his ear off. Like, I asked him probably so many politically incorrect questions. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm just so curious. Like I just have to know I just have to ask you all of these questions. But he was like really cool. About me asking him like very probably like not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably appreciates that, right? Like you trying to understand a little bit better. I think anyone with any condition, I think really appreciates when people try to be a little bit less naive and actually find out more about like kind of what's going on. So I think that's probably a good thing. I'm curious, is this like one of his first times he's paid for like a professional, or is this?
No, so he says he's done it a few times before. It was so sad. So he obviously wasn't born that way. He got into a car accident and then he became that way like in his 20s, which that's like when he was telling me this story, I like started crying. I was like, in your 20s as well, like basically a baby.
Yeah, it's sad.
For that to happen. But yeah, no. So he said that he's done it before, like not heaps of times. I think he said it was like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Before.
No, I think it's nice.
Like, why would you hire an escort though? Like, I
exactly.
mean, like, it's mostly just for company, I guess. But if you're not like fucking, I guess that's probably not that many times that you'd want to see an escort.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get you, but it's nice still to experience. I think we've spoken about this on the show before, but that like sexual energy, I think, is really special to be able to share with someone. And yeah, I mean, like if why not a paid service? I think that's
Well, yeah,
complete. Like,
I
yeah,
guess it's just intimacy. I guess so. Like, I like the thing that I
exactly.
found
Yeah.
like really interesting. It's like the holding the hands thing. Like as I was saying, even though he couldn't
Mm,
feel it, it was just like seeing it or just
knowing.
knowing it. And he's like, oh, I can
Yeah.
remember what it felt like to like have somebody hold my
That's sweet.
hand. And I was like, oh my god, I was like so cute.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
is
I
really
mean, I
nice.
guess it was just such an interesting experience. But yeah, I had such a nice time. We had like such good chat. I mean, like, I say
That's
this all
cool.
the time. Like, you don't need sex to like have like a good intimate experience. We talk about this on the
Yeah.
show all the time. There's so many things, other things, and we had like really great making out sessions. So
Yeah.
I sat on his lap for a bit, which um
That's
that was
cute.
a little bit difficult, like trying to like I was like, oh my god, I'm so scared, and he's like, he's like, it's fine, like I can't even feel it. But obviously,
Yeah,
even
it's like, I feel it, go
but I
for
was
it.
obviously, but even me, I know I was still nervous. I was like, what if I hurt you? And he's like, he's like, you're not, you're not gonna hurt me. It's fine. but
That's hilarious.
but yeah, so I mean, we had a great making out session. So yeah, I mean,
There
yeah,
you go. Fun
you
times.
definitely don't need sex to have a
Yeah.
good experience, which we
Damn.
talk about on the show all of the time. You don't need a dick to
Yeah.
have good chemistry or whatever. But yeah, so that's
Yeah.
like my story, I guess. But yeah, so
Yeah, that's cool.
that was that was a really
Yeah.
fun time. He was really cool. And yeah.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I've so I went to Bali, right? And I was there with family. So it was my mom's like 60th birthday. So we all went on this like family trip that we planned for a long time. So like we're in the same villa. Okay. So I've got my own room, but we're like all in the same like place, like same building. And I had like flashbacks to being a teenager again because I like on the second last day or something, I put up a story like just that I was in Bali. Like I just took a photo or whatever and I just throw it up. And then I had like surprisingly a couple of girls hit me up. They're like, Cameron, are you in Bali? And I was like, yeah, like I'm in Bali. They're like, oh fuck, I'm here. And I'm like, oh shit. So there's one girl I met like 3 years ago, Kat. She's like a Russian girl. Met her on holidays there. She happened to be on holidays again now. So then I was like, yeah, come round. But like, we just finished dinner. My family's like sitting on the couch, like outside, and we're getting massages. So like we had people come in, like they were doing massages at home. And I'm like, yeah, come over. I'm like, hopefully everyone's like fucking gone to bed by then. But it just felt like the biggest teenage thing of like trying to sneak a girl in. So like,
We were literally
she
just talking
rocks
about
up.
like the public sex thing and whatever, like the other day.
Yeah,
About like,
exactly.
when your
Well, this
parents
is
are home.
throwback. So then she
That's
rocks up
fun.
on the motorbike and she's like, hey, how's it? And I'm like, shh. She's like, what's up? And I'm like, so my parents are here. I'm like, you have to be quiet.
Oh my god, I remember that from back in the day. Like sometimes I used to sneak out of the house and I'd get like a boy to pick me up, and I was like, make sure you drive your car like really slow, like don't pull into the driveway
Or
or
like
anything.
park down the
Stop
street.
down the
Yeah,
road.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And she's like, you're what? Like and I'm like, yeah, look, my parents are here. It's cool. So then we get into my room and
Oh my
it
God,
was
you
funny.
actually
She
snuck her
actually,
into your room.
yeah, I snuck her into my room. She
Oh my God, did
she
your
actually
parents
watches the
know?
podcast too. No. So in the
Oh my God,
morning,
Yeah,
'cause-
in the oh my god,
So, listen-
a couple of times I snuck a boy into my room while my parents were asleep, and then like in the morning it's like stealth mode before your parents wake up. You got to sneak them. out.
legit. And then like she was like I don't know how to say this. I was trying to keep it quiet. Let's put it that way, okay? I was trying to keep it, but I'm like, oh man.
You're
So then,
fucking loud. That one time that we like shared a room in when we were in the Gold
Oh,
Coast, and you woke me up in the middle of the night, and then I had to like come out and scream at you, being like, "Shut the fuck up!"
and the girl's like, what the fuck? So yeah, I tried to be quiet.
Yeah, I can
so then
imagine
in
that
the
would have been
morning,
really hard for you.
it is. So in the morning, I go to my siblings and I'm like, yo, was that loud or not? And they're like, I slept through everything, so it was fine. And then we're like morning breakfast, there was no like awkward conversation or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I think these walls are soundproof enough. But yeah, it was a flashback to being a teenager again. It was it felt so fucking weird. Yeah, well, it was a good time though. It was cool catching up with this girl as well. It's been 3 years. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that was my story of the week.
Oh, I missed that. I missed the like exhilarating creeping around. Like, I mean, it's so like anti-exhilarating now because it's just like, just come over. Like,
well, yeah, now I'm just like, fuck, I wish I could just make more noise. But to be fair, like there's a part of me that was like, this is kind of funny and like interesting. But after that, I was just like, okay, now I just really want to make a lot of noise and I can't. Okay. It just felt like restricted.
It was fun for a minute and then you're like, actually not.
Yeah, then I'm like, damn, okay, I can't spank, I can't do this. Yeah, anyway. But no, fun times. Fun times.
All right. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't. All right. So I'm springing this on you. I couldn't tell you what I wanted to talk about before we aired because I feel like it would have ruined it. So this is like a phenomenon that's trending at the moment, and I don't know. It's so fucked up. We have to talk about this. Like at first, I thought it was a joke. And then I like asked a few guys and when they all like didn't flinch and just answered, I was like, holy shit, this is like an actual fucking phenomenon and it's fucking wild. Okay. So I seen this thing on Instagram and it was like, women will never know how often men think about the Roman Empire. So my question for you is, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Like full truth here.
Okay. Full disclosure, the last like 3 days, I've been exclusively watching YouTube channels about like history and war, and a lot of it, it has
what
been.
What the fuck is it?
On
okay,
the Roman Empire. So okay,
I was looking at this post, and women were like, I thought it was a fucking joke, right? And men were commenting saying they think about it all the time. Women were commenting saying, oh, I've just asked my partner. He says every day, every week. I was like, this has got to be a fucking joke. I call my dad. Okay. Dad, I got a random question for you. Just hear me out. I was like, Dad, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I swear to God, the cunt didn't even fucking flinch. He's like, oh, probably a few times a week. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay,
Why?
I'm not going to lie.
Why the fuck are you thinking about this? Do you not have enough stress in your lives that you have time to think about this shit?
I'm not going to lie. If you brought this up like a month ago, I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't think men think about. But yeah, you've busted me. Like I've probably spent 10 hours watching videos on the Roman Empire in the last like, few days.
Why? Why? I asked my dad, I was like, why are you thinking about this? Do you not have anything better to think about like fucking stress or what you're doing? I don't know, like any other thing. And my
but
dad's
this
like,
is maybe the Roman Empire.
I just always thought it'd be cool to be a gladiator. And I was like, yeah, but so what? Like that doesn't mean you have to think about it all the fucking time.
It'd be cool to be a gladiator. It's a good de-stress, right? It's good de-stress. You just think about like the Romans taking over everything, killing shit up. Like,
why do men? Why is this exclusively a male thing? Because all the comments that I've read, women are not thinking about this.
Well,
and I told my mum about this, and my mum's like, "You men need more like shit to be stressed about. You guys are clearly not stressed out enough that you've got time to be thinking about this shit."
Okay, but okay, how many women are thinking about fucking serial killers every 3 seconds, okay? I can't tell you how many girls I know that are fucking obsessed with listening to these crime podcasts like non-stop. And it's like, all you care about are serial killers, right? So listen, we might have the Roman Empire.
We're thinking all the time about getting raped and murdered all the time.
Exactly,
that's probably why we're thinking about
you shouldn't be enjoying that, okay? Shouldn't be enjoying that experience. You guys love it.
No, I did actually see, no. I think I did actually see, like, because in the comments on the post that I was reading, like, women were trying to work out, like, okay, what's the female equivalent? And from what people were, which I think is true, the female equivalent of that is, yeah, we're thinking about getting raped and murdered, like, all the time. Like, oh my God, is this guy going to, like, attack me on the street? Or is somebody going to, like, whatever? But
are they going to go Roman Empire on you? They're going to rape and pillage, okay? This is the polarity of men and women. We're thinking about the raping and pillaging, okay? You're thinking about getting raped and pillaged, okay? This is just basic human nature is what's happening right now.
Oh my God, that's really fun.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. So look, men are silly. Women are more silly. Okay.
That actually makes sense. So thinking about the raping and the pillaging or doing the raping and the pillaging. I guess like that does
Exactly,
sowing your
yep.
seed.
Exactly, yes.
Oh my God.
That's where it
Speaking
comes
of sowing
from,
seeds,
This
my
is-
grandma called me out the other day as a hoe. Oh my goodness. Like she doesn't actually know that I'm a hoe,
What?
but like no, she doesn't actually know I'm a hoe, but I've got no, she doesn't. But she said the funniest thing to me the other day. So like my cousin was in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And my grandma was like just like talking to me about how he wasn't going out enough in Europe. And she's like, oh, I was telling him that he needs to go out and like sow his seed and whatever, you know how old people think. And I was like, how come when I go overseas, you don't tell me to go and sow my seed? And she's like, oh, you don't really need to be told to do that,
so.
do you?
Oh,
like, wow.
damn.
I
Damn,
was like,
she's
wow,
throwing
called
shade.
out. I know.
Maybe she knows more than you think.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. All right, I've got a question for you now, okay? So when I was in Bali, I got a massage pretty much every day, okay? You can get like a fucking 14-hour massage for like $3. It's crazy. Okay, maybe not that crazy, but seriously, like any spare second of my day when I wasn't thinking about the Roman Empire, I was thinking about getting a massage or like Roman Empire massage at the same time. Now, this is the question I have. When you get a massage, do you keep your underwear off or you go on butt naked?
No, you keep your underwear on.
But aren't you worried the oil's going to get all over your underwear? Like, it gets in the way.
Who gives a fuck?
You want to be free. You want to be loose. You
No,
want to
no,
lay there
no,
and be one with the fucking world as you're getting like
No,
massage, relaxed.
no.
I don't worry about this fabric constricting my body,
but what about
holding
when
me
you're,
down.
Like, oh my God, no, but what about when they massage like close to your ass or like what if when they tell you to like flip over or whatever and you've got your fucking junk hanging out? No.
Enjoy. Okay.
No,
they do the towel thing.
They
So
even
when
tell you,
there's
they
a
even
flip
tell you to
move.
keep your underwear on in most places.
Listen, well, too late. I'm sorry to tell you too
Oh my
late.
God, you know what? I think
But
we've
they do
actually
the
seen
towel
this in
thing.
like a
So
TV
listen, I lay face down, all right? Junk's getting covered, bare ass out, enjoy, okay? Then they put the towel over your ass, you're covered, right? Then when you do the flip, when they're like, excuse me, can you please flip over? So they usually have to wake me up because I'm like fucking out of it. They get the towel and they do this thing where they like hold it up and they let you turn and then they put it back over.
That's just for general privacy. That's not be naked and get your junk out. Be naked and get your junk out is like for happy ending massages.
I've never been told like, hey, excuse me, sir, can you please put your pants back on?
Because that's awkward.
No. When I stand there naked, they're like, oh, okay, thank you. All right, this is my favorite massage of the day. Lay down, sir.
No, that's so wrong. No, you're not supposed to do that.
Okay. Well, I'm not changing my practices.
All right, everybody drop in the comments what the correct thing to do is.
Yeah, let me know what the etiquette is. Because I was under the assumption you just get fucking naked.
Right now. No, let me Google
Okay,
this.
yeah. Let's Google it.
I'm going to Google it and see what Google says.
You take, what should we ask? Should
undies be
take
worn
your underwear
massages
off for a massage?
What
Typically,
to
massagers
wear or not
ask you to
during
undress to your level of comfort. Guess what?
Oh.
I'm comfortable in my birthday suit, motherfuckers. Many people prefer to keep their underwear on during massage, while others prefer to be nude. It's up to you. Damn right, it's up to me. Those things are coming off, okay? I'm going to be naked. All right?
Well, there's mixed things that I'm seeing on the internet. Some say, whatever you're comfortable with. No, I keep my underwear on. I like my underwear being, I don't like being fully naked unless I'm like having sex or like in the shower. Even when I'm at home, like I like to wear undies and to like bed and stuff.
I just saw a what should you not do? This is just Google. What should you not do during massage? Don't joke if it is a happy ending massage. Don't get sexually excited. It's inappropriate. Don't break wind. Avoid talking too much.
I have a question. Do you randomly get boners when getting massaged? I always think I'm so curious about guys and boners. Like, I feel like it would be so shit to just have this organ that just like goes up and down on its fucking own.
Nah, listen. When you're going through puberty, that shit happens. But now as a fucking grown ass adult, it's not often ever random. Unless like sometimes you wake up in the morning or during the night or some shit. But if I'm getting massaged, if I'm getting hard, there's a very specific reason I'm getting hard, and it's because I'm sexually turned on. If I'm not sexually turned on, I'm not getting hard. So but 99% of massages
sexual? like not sexual, but
Well,
like if they massage near that area, because dicks think on like you just need to like look at a dick and it will get hard sometimes. Like
yeah, look,
sometimes like guys you just touch near it and then they get a boner. So
yeah, if I'm with a girl that I'm into, she could fucking start massaging my left earlobe and I'm gonna get hard, right? She could massage my shoulder, my elbow. But if it's like a 60-year-old like Thai lady that's like giving me like a remedial massage, like,
but what about if she
I'm
massages
not
near the area? Will it doesn't just go up on its own?
yeah, I
Like
could,
at,
but
like,
like
your thigh or something?
usually I'm listening to this list on Google and I'm not trying to get sexually excited. So that's where I'm like, okay, don't get hard now, Mark. All right, just focus on your breath, settle down. Okay, got an old lady here. All right, let's not intimidate her right now. So yeah, I mean, it feels good, right? Like it feels good if she's like massaging you and she's getting close to your dick or some shit. But usually I'm just like, okay, I'm not like in that sexual space. But if it was a girl I was into, of course, like she would massage my kneecap and I'm going to be like fucking excited about it. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there that get some like awkward boners when
I guess
you're getting like
that's
massaged.
why they have happy ending massages. Because I mean, my client that we had on like the other week, he said this. He said that he pretty much always goes for happy ending massages because he's like, oh, massage just turned me on.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I've had happy ending massages before as well. So if that's the type of massage I'm after, then yeah, like I'm trying to get like sexually excited.
You've had a happy ending massage?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What? But that's basically
you didn't
that's
notice?
like basically seeing a. That's basically seeing
nah. It's I am sure it is, but it's not to me.
Oh my god! So
it's
you
not
have seen a prostitute, basically.
Oh,
well,
fuck
not like
out
really
of here.
a
No,
prostitute.
it's
You like to say
it was
that you've
just
never
a dodgy
paid for
massage
sex.
place.
Oh my god! So
yeah,
you have
well, I did it. I paid for a dick massage. Like it's just what it felt like, right?
That's
it wasn't
a form of sex.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Technically, that's true. I'm saying like emotionally or like the vibe and the feeling of it is like not how it felt. It was just like it was a younger girl. She's massaging and then she's like, "Hey, do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it." Right? Fucking why not?
I'm shocked.
So yeah,
that you have actually paid.
Yeah, if you want to frame it this way, sure.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely frame it that way. That is exactly what it is.
All right. Yeah.
How often
but yeah,
are you
usually
doing
I don't.
This is new information to me.
No, it was.
Do you have
this was
some
like
secret massage happy ending fetish that like I don't know?
No, not really. No, this was back in the day. So like I've never actually gone in with the explicit intent of like, okay, this is what I want. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, there's been times where like I've gone and it's like these fucking dodgy massage places overseas, right? And they're like, happy ending. I'm like, fucking go for it. Why are we here? So yeah, but it's, I don't know. I guess it's not a big deal in my mind, but whatever. If you want to,
no, it's just a big deal in my mind because you like to say that you've paid for sex. Called out.
Yeah, I guess I have. I have. There you go. Called out. All right, so don't wear underwear, guys.
No, do wear underwear. Right? What the fuck? No, that's not what we're ending on.
Don't listen to Kat.
No,
okay, Google told us. Whatever you feel comfortable with, you're gonna be comfortable naked.
No, oh my god, these poor massage ladies are probably like this fucking inconsiderate cunt, just like getting his fucking dick out all over the place.
Oh, they love it. Okay, I can tell. They love it. Get out of here. All right. Next question. While you're laying there naked, the massage lady's thinking, is this circumcised or uncircumcised? I don't know. That was my transition to the next question. But Kat, how do you pleasure a dick, depending whether it's circumcised or uncircumcised? Because listen, I've got some friends, okay, and there's been some complaints out there for women that don't know either how to handle a circumcised dick or an uncircumcised dick. There's some extra foreskin going on, and apparently some women don't know what they're doing with it. So, curious what your thoughts are on pleasuring.
Funny that you mentioned this because I actually thought about this the other day. Like, I don't even know why I randomly thought about it, but like I literally thought about it the other day about how there is kind of like a difference in the practice of pleasuring a circumcised versus uncircumcised dick. So, what I have noticed is that circumcised dicks tend to be like more sensitive around the knob area and less so at the bottom, whereas it's kind of like the reverse for an uncircumcised dick. Like it's kind of like
when you say the when you say the bottom, what are you talking about? Like the shaft is what you mean?
Yeah, like the
Okay.
child. Like I find that like majority when they're circumcised, majority of the pleasure is derived from like the top. Yeah, so they look. It depends. Look, every guy is different. Like you kind of need to like assess the guy. But yeah, so that's what I've noticed is that circumcised get more pleasure from the knob area, whereas uncircumcised, it's kind of a little bit like the whole thing, like the area
Hmm.
of pleasure is a bit more spread.
Okay.
Does that make
I
sense?
think, yeah. I think like from what I understand, right, is when you get circumcised, obviously that foreskin's taken away. So now initially that knob, that like top part, if we can call it, is going to be like very, very sensitive at first. But then because it like gets a lot of stimulation and you know it's more exposed, that's gonna like die down a little bit. But you have no there's a lot of friction there if you're going to give like a hand job essentially. So usually like using some lube or like some spit or something is going to help. Whereas with a guy that has foreskin, when you pull that foreskin back, they're going to be extra sensitive. So again, you got to be careful. So oftentimes, like if you're giving a hand job to a guy, I know this because I'm a guy with foreskin, it's nicer if you actually use that foreskin to actually pull up and go over the knob as you're giving like a hand job. So yeah, it's this is on behalf of all my fellow circumcised / non-circumcised fellows that are been complaining out there. All right.
Yeah, look, I don't. Yeah, it is tricky. Like, so as somebody who frequently, obviously, sleeps with like all different dicks, it is really
No.
specific to the guy. And like some guys, like, and this is another thing that I found as well is like, not every guy enjoys the same um oral or hand jobs. Like some guys like
Yeah.
some guys like you to fucking strangle their cock. Other guys
Mm.
like if you just lightly touch it, it's like, oh my god, like that's like a lot.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I've noticed. Like some guys, like it really just there's no one size
Depends.
fits all. Like this is where like which we talk about a lot on the show. This is where like picking up on cues becomes important, or even just
Yeah. So
communication. So
true.
I find that like when I'm going down on a client, I'll start like really slow and sensual, and then usually I'll ask like, oh, okay, like how do you, what do you like? Do you
Yes.
like it harder, softer, slower? Because there have been times where like I haven't asked and I've gone like really hard and they're like, oh my God, no, that's too much.
Yeah.
Like, or that hurts or whatever. And then it's like, so like, this was more so in my early days where I didn't really realize that there was like I just kind of thought there was a one size fits all. But it was from like
Yeah.
obviously interacting with different guys and they're like, oh my God, no, that hurts. And I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy because like all the other guys like it. Like, why doesn't this guy like it?
Mm.
But then obviously as I started doing it more, I was like, oh, okay, it actually really does depend on the guy sometimes. So what I do
Yeah. That
now
is
is
such good advice.
I always just ask first, like, and you can ask in like a sexy way, like you kind of get like I'll kind of get down there, like start really slow because everybody likes it kind of slow, like a little bit at first, tease around
Yep.
there, and then you can really sexily ask like, how do you like it? Do you like it harder, slower, faster? Like, just kind of make it a little bit sexy. And
Yes.
then usually
I
once you're
love
already
that.
near their dick and they just want you to fucking do something with it, they're very always very inclined to tell you exactly what they like because you're already near their dick. They want you to start
Yeah.
going. Yeah, and I find that guys are usually quite vocal. Like I've had guys be like, "Oh yeah, like fucking strangle it, like squeeze it, squeeze my balls or whatever." And like I find that guys
Mhm.
once you're down there, they will tell you what they want you to do if you ask them.
This
Um
is such good advice, right? It's way better advice than any technique or anything like that because yeah, this is so true. Like this is my personal complaint oftentimes is that girls just go like way too fast, way too quickly. And it's the same with like girls with a sensitive clit. Like if a guy just goes ham on your clit right away, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? So yeah, I think like starting off super slow and the way you ask in that like the very submissive tone is kind of sexy for guys too, right? It puts them in like this powerful dynamic. It puts them in this like powerful position where it's like, yeah, I'm telling you what I like, and you're asking from this like, I want to please you type place. So yeah, I think that is the number one piece of advice that will cover anyone when it goes down to like giving a guy a blowjob, as opposed to like any specific technique. That is how you give a. All right, I like this.
yeah, honestly, because
Everyone, listen up.
I honestly thought that that was probably like the one thing that I was surprised about is because I always thought that I gave like great head or whatever because I had like going into the industry, I kind of had my usual method of like what I do, like
Mm.
the usual thing that I would do. But then, realizing that that's not what every guy likes. And I was like, how is it that like, I thought that this was the key, the secret of like head jobs that like every guy liked, but no, it's really not the case. Every guy
Yeah.
is different. And the same thing for girls. Like, I like that you said like, just don't go ham on the clit, because that guys do that to me all the time. I talk about this again all the time on the show. Guys will just go ham on my clit and I hate it. So I've got a very
Yep.
sensitive clit.
Yep.
And this is something that I've noticed lately. With like, I don't know, I wonder if this works the same with clits. So like you were saying like, okay, well, we were just talking about before how like, like the knob for a guy is more sensitive sometimes if they're circumcised or uncircumcised. I have noticed lately that the top of my clit is the most sensitive part. And then if like they lick like a little bit lower of my clit, it's like not as sensitive. Why is that? Like,
yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a different, and this is again different for every single girl, but how sensitive those nerves that innervate is going to change, and also like how dense those nerves are going to change. So I've noticed like I've got a little vibrator that is very minute, like it's very specific. It's got a very tiny like tip of the head that I use like to run like around the clit and hit different parts of the clit. And I will notice on girls where it might be like the right side is more sensitive than the left, or like the top is a little bit more sensitive, or maybe the bottom's a bit more sensitive. And girls will like find that they have a preference of like which side or like which part of the clit they actually find more enjoyable or more sensitive. So yeah, I think it's probably just down to like how the nerves are like innervating and like how dense they are in those areas, I'd say. But yeah, it's the same. Like, and it's going to be very similar in guys. Like obviously, you know, around the knob is going to be more sensitive than most other parts of the dick. Like that's fairly common with everyone, but it's going to change. Like some guys are going to be much more sensitive, less sensitive. So yeah, it's goes back to that idea of just communicating and figuring out like exactly what your partner wants.
I think we need to normalize like asking a person, like even if it's just like somebody that you're just meeting once, like a Tinder hookup that you just fucked this one time. I think we really need to normalize as a society, like asking your sexual partner what it is that they like. Like, because even something like positions, like for instance, I have a friend who can only orgasm if she's on top, whereas I cannot orgasm if I'm on top. I hate being on top. So it's like, and some guys will only come from, and this is another thing that I've learned, like you might think like, oh, every guy just likes doing doggy, but I've had guys that like can only come doing missionary, like while making out. I've had guys that can only come from like that maybe can only come from like getting head or whatever, and they don't come from sex as often. So, and you know, even like certain kinks. So like you're into obviously like more rougher things. Some guys are into more sensual stuff. So I think we just need to normalize like just asking. Like I ask more questions than just like the head stuff. So I also ask like, oh, you know, what positions do you like? What do you like? And then, you know, they'll be like, oh, I really like making out, or I like missionary or whatever. Or like, oh, can you like, you know, strip for me or whatever? Like, do a tease. So I think like literally just asking like, what do you like?
Exactly.
What are you into? But like you can do it in a sexy way, like when you're already in the bedroom. Like, so that's why I don't ask clients when they walk in and I'm just like, oh, fill out this form and circle here where you want me to touch you. Like, so it's not like that.
Touch on the door where you want me to touch you.
No, it's when you guys are already like getting horny, you're already making out, and it's already kind of sexual, and you know and you're asking like a sexy, playful, submissive way, or I guess dominant way if you're into that as well. Like,
I couldn't agree more. And I think there's probably a societal shame that causes this to happen like a lot less than it should. Because I can imagine situations where guys might ask a girl, because I'm thinking from a guy's perspective, like, hey, so what do you like? And I think there's probably a range of answers that if she actually answers honestly, the guy's probably going to be either intimidated or judge her. So an example of that might be like, hey, what are you into? And the girl's like, oh, I love orgies, right? And the guy's like, holy fuck. Okay, this is not what I was expecting. All the girls like, oh, I want to be choked and spat on and told like I'm a disgusting whore. And it's like, what? Yeah. So yeah, I think like the more we can normalize this, the better, right? So even if you're just starting off with, yeah, exactly, like, how do you like me to go down on you? Something as simple as that is going to make your sexual experiences 10 times better. And it can lead now to more of these conversations that can get into more of these kinks and hopefully relieve some of this shame. Because I repeat this to my students all the time, right? What's going to make you good in bed is simply just figuring out what the girl wants and then giving her that, right? Like it's not like brain surgery, right? Like you literally just ask the girl, get her to a point where she can open up, tell you what she wants, and then you deliver that. And obviously, like there's going to be some reciprocity here, and you work together, and there's going to be some negotiation. But if you have sexual encounters where you get to share your kinks, you get to share what you like, and you both experience it, of course it's going to be good, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like this shame, exactly like what you were saying, is I guess why a lot of people would even see sex workers. It's to do things like, because with a sex worker, you can be like, yeah, I want you to choke me and piss on me and whatever.
Exactly.
Whereas like, if people felt like they could share that with like their sexual partners a little bit more, there'd probably be, less reason for people to like go and have to pay for these kind of experiences.
Exactly. Because we had your client on the other week, right? And that's something that he mentioned is that, yeah, I mean, you can just be like straight up, like you go to a sex worker, like you don't need to worry about feeling shame, or like maybe it's even a kink or something you've never tried before. So you don't even know if you're going to like it. And so you don't want to be put in a situation where you're with a girl or you're with a guy that you may be into, and then you're like trying to explore something you're not even sure about and you don't even know if you're going to like. So having a sex worker there, yeah, that can be like a really positive experience to actually explore that. I was actually, this is something I wanted to ask you because we spoke to your client the other week, and I know he mentioned like for him, he can find it, let's say, easy to be able to go see a sex worker, really enjoy that, have some chemistry, but at the end of the day, know that, okay, I'm not going to like fall in love with this girl, right? There's some separation there with like emotion. And it really had me thinking. And because obviously, I think sex workers do this as well to some level, like especially the ones that I've met, where there also needs to be like somewhat of a separation sometimes between like the sex and your emotions to a certain level. And so I'm curious, like, what your thoughts are on if you think that like men or women have an easier time to like separate sex a little bit from like the emotion.
Mm. Yeah, it's an interesting thought because like I know a lot of girls that say like, oh, when they sleeping with clients and whatever, that they just like detach themselves and they're like a different person, or like a vessel or whatever. I'm not like that.
Mm,
So I'm like, I am myself, like the same way that I
mm,
am in my personal life. I am myself like that with clients. Like I don't find that I'm like somebody different. I don't detach myself.
mm,
I don't act different. And if I'm enjoying a time with a client, like that is me actually really genuinely enjoying it, like on a
mm,
personal level. So, look, detaching, like I did find it, like, oh, I don't know, like I actually, like I find it difficult to, I guess, detach sometimes, especially if I'm really into a person.
mm.
There's been lots of clients that I've been into. Like I've dated clients, so
Yeah,
and like
exactly. Yeah.
I have lots of clients like fall for me as well, and then ask me out, like whether it's reciprocated or not. So I've get a lot of clients that like like develop crushes on me or whatever because it's like a very intimate experience. But
Mm,
yeah, look, I don't know. I would say off the bat, I do think maybe men just biologically
mm.
can detach a little bit more. Um, but look, I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's really hard because I just feel like if you like someone, you like someone.
Yeah, true. There's probably so many more
This is how I
variables to
end up
that.
like getting crushes on clients as well and like dating clients
Yeah,
because it's just like
exactly.
it doesn't matter that they're a client to me. Like I like that person. And I guess it's probably the same
Yeah,
with them and me as well. It's like they're probably like, oh, I like her. Okay, yeah, she's an escort, but like I really like this girl. So like
yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah, that's actually a good way to look at it. There's probably other variables that are more important because I think, yeah, like biologically, if we look at it, uh, yeah, I mean, the whole idea of like the clarity that men have after they come, right? Like as opposed to women becoming a little bit more attached is kind of the stereotype. But there is some truth to it, right? We do share different chemicals that get released during sex. But yeah, you're probably right. Like, I think just at the end of the day, like, are you actually more interested in this person? Do you actually like them? Is probably going to come down more towards whether you can have sex with someone and be able to leave that without becoming like too attached, essentially.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just it had me curious after that chat with your
Yeah, I'm
client.
probably the worst person to ask because, like, yeah, I've dated co-stars and I've dated clients, which a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
girls will be like, that is a big no. But like, if I like someone, I
Exactly.
fucking like them.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Yeah. No, I agree.
And
Yeah.
I guess it probably also like depends on like where you are in your own head when you're going through this experience. So like, for instance, yeah, my client, like, it was like, oh yeah, like it's just a no strings attached encounter. But I guess if you're showing up to a sexual experience as yourself and your own
Yeah.
person and you're like not detached, then I mean, yeah, I mean, you get feels, I guess. That's probably why it happens to me.
Yeah.
Like, I show up to work as me. I don't show up to work as somebody different. So like the
Yeah, I
person that I
guess-
am right now with you is the same person that I am with my clients.
Yeah. Maybe detached is probably isn't the right word, but probably like, I guess at the end of the day, having like the right expectations is maybe what it is. So as your client was saying, it's like, okay, I come to a booking, I know the expectations here, right? Because obviously, like, you still probably feel some chemistry. There's still, and I think like same from a sex worker point of view is like, okay, I know what the expectation here is, right? Like, this isn't my personal life, this is my private life. But in your case, as we said, like, yeah, but if it does happen, if there is chemistry there, if it is something where you both have like this mutual attraction and something comes out of it, that's fine. But it's like the you don't go into bookings thinking, oh, is this my next guy, right?
No.
It's yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So all right, cool, yeah. No, it's interesting. It was just something I was thinking about since our talk with him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But then I don't know. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit interesting. Yeah, when you think about it. I think the sex worker element is makes it a bit different because I talk to girls, some sex worker friends of mine, and they're just off guys for the rest of their lives. So
Yeah,
then you get that as well, which I guess
something I must say, because I've got a few girls that I've dated before that were in like the sex industry, and I must say, like, the way you seem to handle it, Kat, is very different to like everyone else that I've kind of being close with, let's say, because yeah, as you said, like I think a lot of girls develop like this negative stereotype of men or negative judgment of men. And also like a negative connotation around sex. And like they stop, I feel like, enjoying sex in their personal life a little bit, or like maybe avoid it or becomes a little bit different. Whereas, yeah, you seem to have from the outside perspective, you seem to have like very little issue with that.
Yeah, I think about this all the time. I was like, why am I so okay with doing this? Like, am I missing? Like, should I not be okay with this? Because so many people I talk about are like, they have like, yeah, problems, I guess, yeah, dating or whatever. And I'm just like, I honestly, like, I just really just.
You're just built for it.
I know. I think I am.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was just like, is there something that I should like not be okay with this? But I'm just like, oh, fuck it, whatever. I'm having fun.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to maybe dive deep on this one day and like think about what is the difference between you and maybe like I was going to say typical. I don't even know if it's typical. I'm just talking about from my own experience with like the girls that I know. But yeah, like there's something that you have or there's something that you're doing that seems to protect you from having like any of these obvious like negative side effects of
I think I know
like
what it
sleeping
is.
with people quite often.
I think I do know what it is, which like this is the one difference between me and pretty much every single other girl is that I had like a full career before this. And I know that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Whereas I think that a lot of girls go into this thinking that like, you know, I think I would say majority of the girls that I know didn't have careers before doing sex work. Like sex work, it was sex work first, and then they hoped to have a normal life after. I had the reverse. I had a normal life. I was like, had a boyfriend for a long time. I was almost engaged. Like I went to uni. I got a license. I was working as an accountant with the most mundane, boring, normal job that one can have. I worked at a big firm. I had a 9 to 5. I had the whole thing that all the girls that are doing sex work want. And I had that. And I hated it. It was, I left it. And a lot of people would have killed to have the life that I had. And I had it. And I didn't enjoy it. I felt exploited and manipulated and used in that job much more so than I do in sex work. So I feel like I do sex work and I'm just like, it is so much more liberating and empowering for me compared to like my corporate job. Whereas a lot of girls probably, they look at a corporate job and go, oh my God, fuck, that must be nice. It's fucking not nice. I did it. I did it. It was not nice. I was exploited to the fucking bone and paid like shit.
So maybe what it is like, as you said, like other people are doing sex work out of like a necessity. So it feels like it's framed under this whole idea of like, this is not what I want to be doing, right? It's like people that have jobs that like, same thing, like any other job that you don't want to be doing, you're not going to be enjoying. And it's like framed under that the whole time. Whereas it seems like for you, this was like a choice. It's like, this is what I want to do. And I know like this is what, you've decided essentially. So I think whenever you have that like freedom of choice and you're deciding to do something, then you're probably going to cope with it or enjoy it a little bit more than if you feel like, fuck, I have no choice and this sort of kind of stuff.
And I think it all goes back to the grass. Like, people always think that the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
And I've been to the other side, whereas I would say 99.99% of girls haven't been to the other side. I came from the other side. And I tell this because I hear girls all the time, like they crave that normality, that 9 to 5. And I'm like, honestly, I was like, it's not fucking, it's not all as cracked up as what you think it is. Like, it's really not. But yeah, I guess they don't know that. They think it's something different. And I think that's why I think about it differently to other girls, is because I had that normal life once upon a time, and I was like, oh my God, no, fuck no, never go back to that.
Damn. Okay, no, makes sense.
Sense. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think that is what it is.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I'd be curious to, maybe.
Think about all of the sex workers that we know that we're friends with.
That's what I was trying to think. I was trying to go through my head of like
normal life.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the sex workers I know that are really thriving, and the ones that aren't. And yeah, that's probably the biggest variable, I'd say. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, because I know the ones that I know, I would say majority of the ones that I know that are kind of a bit similar to me, in terms of like, they handle it well, did have a job beforehand that they left.
Yeah.
And then started doing
this was
the
a
majority
choice.
of the girls I know that don't handle it very well are the ones that are trying to get it. Which it makes sense, because like I was miserable in my old job, and I was trying to leave it to do anything else. So I guess it's the reverse is true, really.
Yeah, same. All right, cool. Are there any other topics?
Deep topic for the day. Okay, well, closing with my sex fact.
Oh, let's get it.
So my sex fact of the week is a Turkish study found that apparently heavier men, get bigger. Okay. I don't want to say fatter, but fatter. Men,
right, fat boys.
Yeah, men with a bit more cushion for the pushing last longer in the bedroom.
Really? There you go. All right, gotta find yourself a fat guy.
I tried to think about this, and then I was like, I'm trying to like think about like my Rolodex of clients. Like, I would say that I don't think I've had that many guys that are like, I don't know how fat they mean though. Like, if they mean like really big, or if they just mean like moderately big, because I would say
400 kilos.
I haven't had that many clients that I guess are like maybe like really big. Probably that's maybe because I'm probably just so small, and I'm probably not their kind of cup of tea. But yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if it's goes back to the whole idea of just trying harder, because I think one of the biggest variables I think for how long a guy lasts is just probably how much he's willing to try to last longer. Because I'm pretty good now at controlling my orgasm. So if I wanted to come after like 2 minutes, I could, right? If I wanted to. And if I wanted to last like 20 minutes, I can. So like the biggest variable, like personally for me, is going to be like how much I'm willing to last, right? And it's probably going to be similar with a lot of guys. Obviously, like to a certain extent. But maybe if you're a bigger guy, you're like, okay, I need to try and impress here. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I mean, if I'm thinking about it, okay. We'll just use the computer audio for like the last bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I think about it, like, okay, this is just like the first initial thought that I have is, okay, the clients that I have had past that were like a bit bigger, like quite big, they tend to kind of just lie there. And don't really do much.
They don't get to choose their rhythm as much.
Maybe
that's
why
another good
they're
point.
lasting longer, because I found that generally, which I've spoken about this before, like I say, like, you know, the fitness people, or like the you know, guys that are in the fitness industry, or like the ones that have like the more like demanding jobs that are fitter, they tend to be like better in the bedroom. That's kind of what I found. But for me, better in the bedroom means the guy being more dominant, right? That's obviously for me what that means. But yeah, so with like I guess the bigger ones, I find that majority of the time they just lie there. I don't want to say that's everybody, but the majority of the ones that the bigger guys that I've had, they tend to literally just lie there. So yeah, maybe that's probably why.
That makes sense. Yeah. This makes sense because if you control the rhythm, it's really easy to get yourself to that point where you're going to come. If you're not control, and this is the advice I often give guys when they're trying to last longer is like break up your rhythm, right? Like if it feels really good and you want to keep going, then that's not a good thing, right? You're going to come really fast. So actually breaking up that rhythm. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, solved the puzzle.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what I think.
Girls, find yourself a lazy fat man that won't do anything and you'll last longer. There you go.
Well, okay, so I've got I don't know if it's politically correct.
Let's go for it. Let's get it.
Oh, okay. Look, I'll tell the story, and then if you think it's like bad, we can just cut it out. But okay, so I did have this.
All right, we're definitely leaving it in.
He was probably like the biggest client that I've had.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to lie there and had me on top, which is fine. Like I don't mind doing that. I mean, like I have skinny or fit clients that are like that as well. So it's not like that's an exclusively a bigger guy thing. But he just wanted to like, lie back and have me go on top. But like the issue is that he was like, I guess, so high off the bed that I couldn't actually like reach the bed to then like bounce. It was like really difficult. Like
so your legs were too short?
I'm really small, so like I don't have that much long limbs. So it was like moving up and down was really difficult. And it really just didn't work.
Do you know when you're at school when you're kids and like your feet couldn't touch the floor and you just like swinging your legs? That's what I'm picturing.
It's only ever happened this one time, like, and like, okay, he was like quite big, but like, yeah, like I couldn't straddle like how I normally kind of could. So it was.
That's so funny.
That's not a bad story to do. Is it like
you're too short? He's too big.
I'm trying to be like really politically correct here, but this is
this says more about you than it does him.
Well, that's very true because I'm sure like taller girls would have had an issue, but like I'm really. So I think you need to pick your girls.
That's awesome. No, we're keeping that in.
But yeah, so that happened to me once. There you go. It was really difficult, and then did
he last long though?
Look, he ended up like it just didn't work. Like it just
didn't work. Didn't happen. GG.
No, look, yeah, it couldn't work like that with me being on top, which then he got really disappointed about because he just wanted to lie there. But then we ended up having to do like he then had to like I had to then lie down and do the work, which he was like upset about because that's not what he wanted to do. But like if he wanted to fuck me, that's what that was the only way he could fuck me because it just like me being on top just kept falling out. I kept slipping off him. Like,
just not working. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's my story, but yeah, so
love it. Happy days. Okay, well, guys, everyone, subscribe, hit like. If you have any questions, then shoot them over to our socials, and we'll answer them on the show. Otherwise, we'll catch you all next week.
Yeah, make sure you thumbs up, like, subscribe. Check out our Instagram and our TikTok, which is @CatandMarkShow. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Love you all. Catch you later.
Bye.